Hey guys, today we're going to do our last bit of working with inequalities, and today we are graphing them. Now, graphing inequalities is extremely similar to graphing a line. So remember, we're going to be using this formula, y equals mx plus b, and always remember that m is your slope of your line, and your b is your y-intercept, okay? And that's our main equation to graph an inequality. The only difference is that an inequality isn't exactly equal to what's on the line, right? It can be greater than what's on the line or less than what's on the line, so we have to be able to interpret that. Let's go ahead and take a look at this graph that I have here, and we're going to write the inequality for this graph. So first off, let's think about what the y-intercept is, okay? So it intercepts right there. And so my y-intercept is going to be at 1. So my y-intercept is going to be at 0, 1. Now my slope, remember how we do slope? It's rise over run, the amount that you go up divided by the amount you go over. And if it's negative, it's the amount you go down divided by the amount that you go over. Okay? So this is a positive slope because as we move from left to right, it's going up. And so let's count up 1 and 2 to get to this point here, and then we're going to count over 1, 2, 3. So my slope, my m, is going to be a positive 2/3. So to write this as an inequality, we still use our y. We go y 2/3 times my x, because that's my slope, that's my m, plus my y-intercept, which is 1. The only difference is what we put in this blank here. So let's talk about how we can know which one it goes in. So if it is less than, if y is less than, then as we go up, we're going to see that we have a dotted or a dashed line. And we're going to fill in underneath our line. Because it is less than, we fill in underneath our line. If it's greater than, we still have a dashed line because it is not equal to. It's not equal to that line. So we're going to have a dashed or a dotted line. And we're going to fill in above that line. Now, if it is less than or equal to, we have a filled in line. And we fill in below because it is less than. And then if we have a greater than or equal to line, we have a filled in line because it is also equal to, and we fill in above. So looking back up here, what is it going to be? For my inequality, which one of these four is going to go in this spot? Yeah, it is going to be greater than, okay? Because it is a dotted or a dashed line, and we fill in above, so we fill in greater than. Okay? So let's get some practice graphing these. Now remember to graph, we always have to solve for y first. We need to put it in slope-intercept form, always first. Well, this one already is in slope-intercept form. So, what is my slope? My slope is 1/2. What is my y-intercept? It is going to be at 0, -3. Okay? So now that we have my slope and my y-intercept, I can graph this pretty easily. I can put my y-intercept at -3. And I can start counting out my points. I can go up 1, over 2, up 1, over 2, down 1, to the left 2, down 1, to the left 2. And we can see where my graph is going to go. But we still have 2 more questions that I need to answer. First off, is it going to be a dotted line or a solid line? Well, on this one, it's going to be a dotted line, because it is just less than and not equal to. So we're going to have this dotted line here. Now, you all should know by now that I can't draw a straight line. That's as good as it's going to get for us right now. Okay, second. So we have this dotted line. Second, are we going to shade above or shade below? We're going to shade below because it is less than. Okay? And if you ever need to refer back, remember these notes are on Canvas so you can look at these 4 things. Okay? Or you can go back and pause the video and take a picture with your phone or whatever you need to do to help you. Okay? Alright, so we're going to shade below, and there we have it. We have graphed our first inequality. Congratulations. Now, what about this second one over here, number 2? This one, I have to solve for y because we want to get it in slope-intercept form. So my first step to solve for y is I'm going to take away this 4x. So I'm going to minus 4x to this side, minus 4x to this side. So we're going to get negative 2y is less than or equal to negative 4x minus 8. Next, to get y by itself, I need to divide by that negative 2, which means I need to divide both sides, everything by negative 2. So we're going to have y, negative 4 divided by 2 is just 2, so we have 2x. Negative 8 divided by negative 2 is a positive 4. Okay, so we're going to have y is, but wait, cannot forget this. I've been trying to tell it to you every single day for all of this, but if you divide both sides by a negative number, you must flip this sign, right? So it's going to be greater than or equal to 2x plus 4. Okay? So, my y-intercept. My y-intercept is going to be at 0, 4, and my slope is going to be at 2. So let's go ahead and let's put my y-intercept out here at 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go ahead and put in my slope. We're going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Remember, slope can also be written as like that number over 1. All right, so if it's a positive slope, we're going up that many over 1, up that many over 1. So we're going to go up 2 over 1, down 2 to the left 1, down 2 to the left 1. Remember, it's very important if we have a positive or a negative slope. A negative slope would be going downwards, right? It would be going downwards. This time it's going upwards. Okay. All right. So let's answer these questions. And we're going to have a dotted line or a solid line. We're going to have a solid line because it is also equal to. Next, am I going to shade above or below? Yeah, we're going to shade above because it is greater than, because when we flip the sign, it made it greater than. So we're going to have a solid line, and we're going to shade everything above. All right? That's pretty much the basics for our inequalities. Let's go ahead and go over to our next page. And let's talk about what happens whenever we just have a y or just have an x. Okay? So if I have y is less than or equal to 2, remember what we do here. My slope is going to be 0, and my y-intercept is going to be at 0, 2. Because what it is everything that equals 2. Everything that equals 2, okay? And since it is less than or equal to 2, it's going to be a solid line, and it's going to be everything less than 2, so we're going to shade below, okay? So if it's y, remember that's a slope of 0, we just have a flat line. But if it is x, like this one here, x is greater than negative 3, that's my straight up and down line. Because I don't have a slope, my slope is undefined. And I have no y-intercept. I only have an x value, right? It doesn't ever hit the y-intercept. So we're just going to put our point at -3, okay? And since it's greater than -3, it is not going to be a solid line. We're just going to have a dotted line going up and down. And the next thing, it says x is greater than -3. But we don't have an above or below this time. We just have a greater than or less than. So for a greater than, it's going to be, remember, x gets bigger when it goes to the right and smaller when it goes to the left. So if x is greater than -3 on this one, we're going to fill in everything to the right. Now, that is just to show you what happens whenever we don't have an x or if we don't have a y. Okay? Remember, if it's x, it's just going to be straight up and down. If it's y, it's going to be straight left and right. All right, our last two problems here, number 5 and number 6. This time we have an extra step. We're going to graph the inequality, but then, once we're done graphing it, we're going to determine if the following points are solutions. Okay, so let's see here. Number 5. Let us first solve for y. So my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3x to both sides. That's going to leave me with 2y is less than 3x minus 8. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And it's not a -2, so I don't have to worry about flipping the sign. So it's just going to be 3 over 2x minus 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. My y-intercept is going to be at 0, -4, and my slope is going to be 3 over 2. So that means I'm going to go up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2. So let's go ahead and graph this. That's our first step here. So let's go ahead and graph. I'm going to put a point at 0, -4, and my slope is going to be a positive 3/2. So I'm going to go up 3 over 2, up 3, up 1, 2, 3 over 2, up 1, 2, 3 over 2. And so my graph will look like this. Except it's not going to be a filled-in line like that, right? So I'm going to put in some dashes to show that it is a dashed line, not just a filled-in line. Now, am I going to fill in above or below this graph? I'm going to fill in below the graph because it is less than. All right, so now let's go through. Let's see if these are solutions. First one, 5, -6. So where is 5, -6 going to be? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that a solution? Yes, because it falls into the shaded region. So it is a solution. Next, 0, -4. This one is tricky, right? We start at 0, go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a point on the line. Now, is a point on the line a solution to this problem? Usually it would be, right? However, in this specific case, because it is not equal to the line, because it is just less than the line, the answer is actually no. It is not a solution because this is a dashed line, so it does not count. So this one's no. Next, -3, 2. If we go -1, 2, 3, up 2, we get a point there. Is that a solution? No, it's not even close. All right, our last one, number 6. First, we got to graph. In the graph, the first thing we got to do is solve for y. We got to put it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to get y by itself by minusing 3x to both sides. So that's going to leave me with y is greater than or equal to -3x. So What's my y-intercept? Well, I don't have one here, right? Well, if you do not have a y-intercept, your y-intercept is just going to be 0. So I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, my y-intercept is going to be at 0, 0. And there's my point. My slope is going to be -3. Remember, you can write this as -3 over 1 if you want to. Okay? This means we're going to go down 3 to the right 1, down 3 to the right 1, because as we move from left to right, this time my graph is going to be going down. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this on here. Last but not least, is it going to be a dotted line or a dashed, or a filled in line? It's going to be a filled in line because it's also equal to. So let's go ahead and graph it. We're going to go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, up 3 to the left 1, up 3 to the left 1, and you'll see, yes, this is negative. We've got to make sure that we graph the negative part of it. All right, and as we graph it, it's going to be a filled in line. And are we going to fill in above or below? We're going to fill in above. Okay? We're going to fill in above the line because it is greater than. So let's check on these solutions. First, -3, -3, 1. Let's count out. 1, 2, 3, up, 1. That is an easy no. Next, 1, -3. Over 1, down 1, 2, 3. Well, that one is on the line. Well, does the line count for this? Yes, because it is equal, because it is a solid line. So this one's going to be yes. And last but not least, 5, 2. So we're going to count out 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, 2. Does that fall in the shaded region? Yes. So that is a solution. Okay? All right, guys. Hope this video has been helpful for you. Make sure that you answer all the questions and do the work on Go Formative. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks.